Hola, buenas tardes. Me llamo Kelly. I am the Spanish tutor and translator here at Adventures in Spanish. And I have recorded a video for you guys today that takes you through the letters and sounds of the Spanish alphabet. The more confidence you have with these sounds, the more confidence you'll have when you want to pronounce a new word in Spanish. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and crack straight on. So the first, let me bring myself over here. So the first thing we're going to do is go through los vocales. And los vocales are the vowels. On this sheet, I have the letter at the top, followed by the sound, the phonetic sound of that letter below. An example of that letter in an English word, which I'm not going to go through, you can see them for yourself, and then an example of that letter being used in a Spanish word. Okay, so let's begin, shall we? Some of these letters, by the way, have specific rules. So as we go through, I'll be just clarifying how the sounds of these letters change depending on which letter they are before in a Spanish word. All right, let's begin. So the first letter is the letter A. A, as in ambulancia. Ambulancia. Then we have the letter E. E, as in estrella. Estrella, which means star. Then we have the letter I. I, which is also known as an I latina, because the sound of the letter I in Spanish sounds the same as the letter I in English. To differentiate, we call it the I latina. And the word I have for as an example here is imán. Imán, which means magnet. And you can see that there's an accent over the A. That means that we give that letter more stress. So it's not imán, it's imán. The next letter is the letter O. O. And the letter O in Spanish is never a long O like it is in English. It's a shorter sounding, an O. O. And it's a word in its own right as well. It means or. When you see it written on its own, it means or. Okay. So the example I have is oveja. Oveja. It's lambing season at the moment, and we've got lots of baby ovejas around here. The next letter is the letter U. U, as in uvas. Uvas, which mean grapes. All right, let's carry on with the rest of the alphabet. So the next letter is B. B, as in bebida. Bebida, which means drink. So we call this the B alta. B alta, because it sounds very similar to the letter V in Spanish. The next letter is the letter C, which we pronounce se. Se, as in coche. So there's a rule around the letter C. Before an A or a U, it's a hard C, as in like a K sound, as in carnaval or cuchara, okay? But before an I or an E, it's a softer S sound, as in celebrar, cielo, cero. It's important to learn that. A lot of people always say to me, a lot of students always say that they're not sure whether it should be a C or a K or a K. And just learn this simple rule and you'll have no problem with that at all. Right. The next letter is the letter Ch. Ch. As in, what other word could it be in? Churro. Churro. Deliciosos. Churro. The next letter is the D. D. As in dragon. And again, we've got an accent on the O there. So it's not dragon, it's dragon. And the letter D, the sound of the letter D is formed by putting your tongue at the top of your mouth behind your teeth. Dragon. Dragon. The next letter is the letter F. Efe. F, as in fuego. Fuego, which means fire. Alrighty, then we go on to the letter G, which is a G. G, as in general. General. Okay, and there's a few rules as well around the letter G. So before an A, an O, or a U, it's a hard G, as in the G in get. So for example, gato, which means cat. Before an E or an I, it's a softer G, it's more like an English H sound, as in general, girasol. Okay? Muy bien. Then we go to the H. The letter H in Spanish is a very interesting letter. At the beginning of the word, it's always silent, so we don't pronounce it. But on its own, the letter H is an H. H. Okay, and this word here means ant. We don't pronounce it hormiga. We pronounce it hormiga. Hormiga. Okay, then we have the letter J, which is pronounced jota. Jota, as in jarra. Jarra. So una jarra de cerveza, for example, a jug of beer, or una jarra de agua, a jug of water. Then we have the letter K. K, as in koala. Koala. The letter L. Elle. Elle, as in libellula. Libellula, which means dragonfly. I love that word. The E has got an accent on it, so it's libellula. We put the emphasis on that E. The double L sound in Spanish. Okay, so this is an elle, all right? Unless you're from Buenos Aires and you'll pronounce it elle. Buenos Aires, obviously in Argentina. So the word here, ella, means she. Ella, it's not an ella, it's an ella. Okay, muy bien. Next we have the letter M. Emme. Emme. And the word is marciano. Marciano, which means Martian. Then we have N. Enne. Enne. And the word I've put here is nube, which means cloud. Nube. The next letter is a letter that obviously we don't have in the English alphabet. It's an Enye. Enye. And it isn't just an N with a squiggle on it. It is a letter in its own right. And the perfect example of this letter being used is in the word español. Español. Muy bien. Then we have the letter P. P, as in planta. Planta, which means plants. Nearly coming to the end. Okay, then we have the letter Q, which is a Q. Q. And the example I've given is queso. Queso, which means cheese. And the U after a Q in Spanish is silent. So that's not pronounced queso, it's queso. Okay, muy bien. Then we have the R, which is an R, as in roca and hora. So roca means rock, hora is hour, and that's an R. And then, of course, we have the one that we all have struggled with. It took me years to learn how to do this, to roll my R. And it's the double R sound, and it's the R sound, all right? As in arroz, which means rice. The best way to learn this is just to practice with tongue twisters and things like that, okay? R. Then we have the S, which is esse. Esse, as in saltamontes. Saltamontes. Oops. And saltamontes is a grasshopper. Next, the te. Te, as in tigre. Tigre. Alrighty, last line, here we go. So this is the V. This is the one that sounds very similar to the B in Spanish. So the B is a B alta, a tall B. The V is a V corta, okay? A V corta. So we've got the V alta and the V corta, all right? Tall B, short V. They might not sound too similar when we have them in a word. So this word here is video. You can tell that I'm pronouncing a V, video. But when we're maybe spelling something, the B and the V, the B and the V, the B and the V, they sound very, very similar. All right, so we call the B alta, and the V corta. Okay, muy bien. And if that's the V, we next have the W, which is the W. W. The example I've given is windsurf. Windsurf. Okay. And the X is X. X. The example is xylofono. Xylofono. The Y. Now the Y is a word in its own right as well. The Y is the letter is called an Y. An Y. I know, it's strange. But the sound of it is a Y, as in yema. Yema, which is an egg yolk. And on its own, the Y means and it's pronounced I. So, el chico y el perro, the boy and the dog. Okay? And the last letter is the Z. So, we're going to pronounce this either theta, if you're from mainland Spain, or zeta, if you're from Central and South America. Makes no difference, it's totally a personal preference. And the word I've written here for that is zorro. Zorro. Okay, so there you have it. The sounds and letters of the Spanish alphabet. I hope that's helped. Practice, practice, practice. I'd love to hear how you got on over in our free Facebook group. I'd love to see you in there and to continue supporting you on your language learning journey. But for today, that is it from me. Muchas gracias y adiós.